most time here. So is it better use this one or so we just like this? Okay. So but other people use how other people use? I'm fine. I'm okay with. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, if you want to, yeah, this is better. I can use it. I just don't need to stay here all the time, right?
Sorry for the
Hey,
lights,
it's okay.
but it
Well, it's
goes.
a little bit small, so my
Yeah,
my slide is kind of small. Turn out to be.
yeah, but there's of course the monitor, and I
Hope
think
so.
that people are maybe more interested in what you're talking about than
Okay.
just for the
Okay.
pictures.
Okay. Yeah.
So it will be interesting.
Yeah.
So
Is there going to be a discussion also after your talk?
I don't know. I'll ask David.
Oh, there's. I didn't know that there's a timing.
Yeah, the camera here.
That's good. Is it stream live? So, where is this coming? The new website. Nice to see you.
Oh, really?
More pressure.
Well, I will stay here most of the time because I have to operate if you want, so it'll be good, right? Yeah, so yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're not now to go through directly from the computer, no? Yeah, because this is so. It's not a. Oh, okay.
You are already there.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. Okay. So there's mostly the slides. Right. Okay. Yeah, because I will walk here. Like, oh, yeah.
liikut se helposti.
Yrittää sitten niinku tosi niinku silleen niinku karsii prosessit. Siihen aikaanhan se oli helppoa, että se niinku kasetissa vaan niinku toiseen ei sitä PowerPointia muuta kuin voi...
Siitä voi niinku klikkailla eteenpäin vähän nopeammin. Kiinnostava kontrastinen sessio oli toi teidän porukka.
Joo, ihan kiinnostavia tyyppejä. On löydetty siis, musta aina kun, no Tam ja Virikoon on tietysti tuttuja, mutta en mä siis Raumia ja tuntenut aikaisemmin.
Joo, mäkään.
Mikä tuolta sieltä Italiasta?
Raul ja Rahul.
Joo.
Eli
Rahul oli tää
intialainen, joo.
Joo.
Joo, että se on no heillä oli periaatteessa niin kuin, vähän samantapainen teema molemmilla. Niin kuin ennakkoarvautuna. Ja vähän semmoinen riskialtiskin teema, että miten köyhyys poistetaan arkkitehtuurin keinoin. Hyviä toi meni. Kaikilla tuli kuitenkin nämä konkreettiset esimerkit siitä, että mitä he on sitten tehnyt. Ja mitä on saatu pystyä.
Mä luulen, että tuo konsepti, että on lyhyitä puheita, on parempi kuin
Koska sitten on niinku vielä isomman riskin menee sanoa projektiin.
joo, ne kaikki tulee siis halpaa.
Joo.
So, would you please go back to your seats? The next session is going to be streamed live to the net. So we would like you all to go back to your seats so that Mr. Liu can start.
Standing here.
What?
Stand here. Wait.
You stand. You can stand there.
That's fine.
You have this mic. You have the mic. Okay. Okay. So you're all set. Yeah. Yeah.
Onko teillä jossain pointeri, millä voi vaihtaa slaideja?
Kenen slaidit sä haluat vaihtaa?
Kaikki.
Kysy Tomilta.
Ei ollut tänään täällä.
Oli.
Mä kysyin Tomilta, niin sanoi, että ei ole.
No toi varmaan tietäisi toi.
Sitä haluaisi nytkin. Jos se on, niin toikin haluaisi nähdä.
Joo, mutta en mä tiedä kaikkea. Siis se on, kaikki nämä on päätetty, että ne on. Jos ei niitä ole, niin joku on mokannut. Ei ne niinku itsestään tapahdu. Mutta esittelyt sä nyt sisään.
Ei kun toi Davide.
David is going to introduce you, and then we start.
Hello. If you can take a seat, we're ready to continue with the program. You just press it and it starts. Okay. If you can start sitting, please, so we can continue with the keynote presentation of today. Our keynote speaker today comes from one of the most dynamic economies in the world. A country that has gone since the last years, since the last decades, through a very rapid economical growth that has had a big impact on cities and architecture. I have had the chance to visit his projects and also to be a jury in an award that was given in Beijing last year, where one of his projects was one of the finalists. And there I was able to see that amid this very rapid growth that has taken China to have this globalized image with the tall skyscrapers, there was also at the same time slowly happening a new generation of Chinese architects who are balancing between the tradition and these new needs of the country. The work of Urbanus has moved between the master plan scale to the large mixed-use project scale, but providing this contemporary image, but at the same time trying to take things that come from the tradition. I think that the Toulon housing project that maybe Xiaodu will show today is a tremendous example of how you can take this tradition and make it into something new. So I leave you with Xiaodu, one of the founding partners of Shenzhen-based Urbanus.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to speak here. It's my first time in Finland, so it's very exciting experience, and it's been very good. And I saw some of Aalto's building, and I always think about it. And since I was first year in the college, to study architecture, so this is one of the several pictures I actually draw in the first grade. So this is sometimes it's a dream come true. Today I'm going to talk about something I think quite different, probably not quite familiar with the audience here, since I'm come from almost another side of the world, that everything's reverse, everything's different. Lots of things to show, and to try to keep the time. Urbanus was founded in 1999. It's our 16th year. So we've been working in China for 16 years, and we have 3 partners. We have 2 locations, one in Shenzhen. We start from Shenzhen, near Hong Kong. That's a big city now. And we also started a Beijing office in the year 2003. So since then, the office size, it kept it as like around 80 to 100 people, as all architectural. So for this kind of firm, we tend to do lots of work. As all the partners came back from States after study and work for years. And when we started, we have set our kind of a goal, or we wrote our kind of a firm profile, and think what we're really trying to do in China. So this is something we wrote at day one. We set up the company. What do you say is, it says, Urbanus focus on urban realities in China and six architectural solutions based on research of emerging urban problems. So these are some important key. And Urbanus is more than a design practice. It's also a think tank. It aims to formulate architectural strategy from the urban environment in the general and the ever-changing urban conditions in specific. So this is something we wrote, and we try to practice with this, and we never changed our idea. We will still practice this way. Now, to give you a little bit introduction, I'm sorry this is not very clear, so the light. But this is a kind of important slide. It shows the most part of China. It's actually when you see the night view, you see those lighter spots along the east coast. So this is something showed actually most active economic and most of the population actually gathered in majorly 3 major areas. The top one we call the Jingjing-Tang, the Beijing, Tianjin, and Tangshan, 3 cities. It's called the Tri-City Triangle. It's the political, cultural, economic, financial, you name it, everything. It's the center of it. So, so this is very strong and a lot of industry, heavy industries. And then the center one is called the Yangtze River Delta, which is a center led by Shanghai, a strongest economy in China, and it has around more than 40 large and mid-sized cities around it. So this is a big form the most the strongest economy in China, and then is the lower part is called the Pearl River Delta. That area is the first. That's the start of the China modern economy. It's a province called Guangdong. It's actually the small area that actually holds almost. We'll say, conservatively speaking, 50 million people living in the area, which Urbanus actually located in one of the cities called Shenzhen. So they have 5 major cities surrounded the river. So you see, archaeologist, he drew a line like 50 years or 70 years ago. He said all China actually, even as big, it used to be Mongolia used to be a part of China, and then said, okay, 1/3 of the land actually hold most Chinese people. And so most of people living in the east side of the slash line. So this is the reality we are facing. So you see the 3 different cities, and then you see this map of a population. The dark red is the most population gathered. So then you see the difference between the west is almost a desert and the high plateau, like a Tibet or a Xinjiang area. So most of the people are living here. So we have this kind of a limited resource. It's nothing compared to here. So it's almost completely opposite. So after this year, in the year 1979, there's this guy called Deng Xiaoping. He was the leader of the country at that time. So he decided, open up to the world. So they bring China into this free market economy, we would say, or capitalist type of the road. So since then, we never returned. So at that time, he designated 24 cities along the coast as the open city, and among them, he also selected 4 major cities. The lower part, when you see the small red circles, that's what's called a setup the special economic zone. Economic zone is not political, nothing political. So each city actually point to the rival city, like Taipei, Kaohsiung, which is Taiwan, and then Shenzhen is compared to Hong Kong, and there is another city called Zhuhai compared to Macau. So you see those, there's a very, very clear thing to the south east coast. That part become the experiment of the open policy for China. And Shenzhen, ever since, become the only successful special economic zone. So the successful has some kind of a number, so we can show. For example, this is a number we always talk about. When the starting in 1980, Shenzhen was a very small town. It's a border control town. It's been developed for 35 years, and the population grows 500 times. So it's from a teeny tiny town and grow up to a metropolitan area. And this is the pictures the people take shows that what looked like in 1979 or 1980. So this is just like a rural area. It is a rural area. So, and boom, in year of 2010 to 14, then it's become metropolitan. So we call it one night town, one night city. Is the city built in one night. So you see, Ram Guhas, he actually wrote 2 major books. Actually, all has a certain study research about this Pearl River Delta area, and especially this book called The Great Leap Forward. It's especially talking about Delta, Pearl River Delta area. And since then, it was in 1995, and it's 20 years passed, and you see the Pearl River Delta, you see the Delta area, right? So this whole area has been massively developed. It's very different from the time Ram studied the region. And when you see the Shenzhen was like that, you know, the yellow part is the urbanization kind of the area. It's somehow still vastly empty. You only see part of it. So you wanted the red line shows previously the edge of the city of Shenzhen. So that was 1994. So this map was drawn, and then year 2010. So you see all the areas is being developed almost. All the empty areas in the mountain area. So it's been the Shenzhen city of Shenzhen has drawn some kind of ecological protection line, certain height. So no one can build anything above that line. So there's has a reservation of some green area. So all the others being fully developed. So this is the thing. And the Shenzhen since then developed from the east of the town used to be the border, the custom area to Hong Kong. So they start from there. It's called Luohu. Used to be the center of the city. Then it's gradually moved. 10 years later, they moved to the central part. So that's the left side of the white bar, and it's called the Futian CBD area. So this is becoming, and then later the year 2010, it actually moved again. They established a sub-center, a city center called Hohai area. Then further, it's been, you know, we are building a totally new area. It's a land reclaimed area totally. It's a new city center called Qianghai. It's going to be huge, like a 20 million or 30 million square meter kind of a development size. So this is something Shenzhen is still totally out of the land. We're trying to get more land or get more people. This is the engine, actually the driving force to this kind of a situation is because we have a lot of migrant workers, a lot of people coming from the inland of China, and come here to work, to finding work. So this is called urbanization. The wave it actually affects the whole Pearl River Delta area. So since then, Urbanus from we started office from it's a very west area. Then quickly we moved into the old city center. So then in the year 2001, we moved to Luohu, which is the city center. So we stayed there. We moved once. Then we jumped to Futian. So when the city moves, the city center moves, our office moves. So then finally we located in the center of this geological center of the Shenzhen area. So this is also quite interesting. We didn't really realize after we draw this map and say, okay, this is probably something we, shows that how Urbanus actually grow up along with the city. And there are numbers of projects that have been built. Scattered around the city. That we're talking about is now the city of Shenzhen. It's the inside the special economic zone. It's only I think it's 1/4 of the land, and all the rest are outside. And so before we came, it's already developed from year 1980s. So at that time there are 500,000 people only. Then it's a very fast growth to 1.7 million in 10 years of time. And at that time, the people don't think that it's going to grow so big. And then suddenly, to the year 2000, it's been 9 million people. Then we build all of the infrastructures, all the city, everything, the infrastructure needed, it's been there. So that's the point that we start the office. So you see, there are some projects we started very small. We were very small. So we start with some kind of urban public spaces. So we build small parks and those kind of things. So you see mostly it's scattered in the east part of we call the Luohu area. So this was the first project ever built in 1999 to year 2001. And we put a lot of energy on that, and 2 years later, it's been demolished. And now it's a high-rise office building on the top of it. So it was quite a drama. And then we quickly built another park beside it. So since then we built another one. So this is a start point, and also we practice our idea about this kind of urbanist kind of approach, and the projects like this is also kind of enlarge the urban public space, but they do has some small buildings like 2,000 square meters something, and this is some project we involved with the city, and we work with the city, like people from a planning bureau. They have a piece of land. They come to us. They say, okay, we don't know what to do. Can we just do something? So we made this investigation, thorough research, and we decided to do something related to culture, because in that area, in Luohu area, it's all pure entertainment and the leisure kind of environment, and also some offices, and there is no such a thing called culture thing. So this is something we decide to do. So this is we start from the programming, and then we gradually build something, and it's a small building. It take a long time, 4 years to get it built. So it is not really say, okay, in China everything is fast, and it's actually sometimes really slow, and you need to take time. And it was the first building we have ever, we got it through the competition, And luckily it was um, the, the office building for the planning bureau of Shenzhen. So this is the start point. So we expose ourselves to to people in Shenzhen, and then later we got the first high-rise building in year 2004, and there are some others types, different styles and different locations. We deal with those building styles with consideration of the local and of the local context and what's supposed to be. Then we find the proper way of doing that. So to the year of 2005, and the Shenzhen started growing to 11 million people. So that's actually the real CBD started build, and the whole city actually, that's the major time for the big wave of the construction. Since then, actually, I estimate 80% of high-rise buildings, office buildings and commercials, that was built in that 10 years, these 10 years. So this actually shaped the skyline of Shenzhen. And actually we continued, I've done some interesting work. Like this is the renovation of a small a factory, a warehouse, and turn it into an art gallery. Yeah, this is for some more fashionable approach. And also, we start from year 2003, and we kind of did this renovation master plan of this light industrial area, rundown area, in the center of Shenzhen. And then we introduced this some ideas to make this creative park. Since then, we've been working on this until now. We still keep working. So it's been more than 10 years. There are lots of projects we have done in this area. So actually, that's the time we moved to this area. We were the first company ever moved to this creative park. So that's the site. The first one, the right part is the phase one. So it's become successful. They made the second phase a better one. And also we also work with the city to help them to choose this site as the first three Shenzhen architectural and urbanism biennial. So it's become famous. Then we have a lot of cultural things ever. This is the phase two. So we add some small features and a second level corridor, and also we organize some international artists to paint the wall, something. So this is the effort we have done thoroughly to help to shape this very nice place. Now it's become one of the main cultural landmark in Shenzhen. And also we have finished a Dafen Museum. I'll show you a little bit later. And also this is the one called the low social housing we have done also in year 2008. So I'm going to show a little bit later. And also some of the housing project we have done. We didn't do much housing, but if we do, we try to make this a little bit special. So this is the one. It's a apartment complex, and this is something we did with with it's on the hillside, so the whole thing is more like a make the courtyard houses, and also the roof, it's only shaping cooperate with the nearby mountains. So once the China grow and grow, it becomes more. Shenzhen has grown to 30 million. So then there are some other problems showing, like environmental crisis, and this is some in that time we have done. Shenzhen has becoming a nicer, much nicer city and a livable city, we'll say. So this is something we continue to do. This one is very interesting. It is the smallest building we have ever done, only 800 square meters. It was the district, what's called a marriage registration center. It was, I believe this was the first in the country. They actually put the marriage registration as a single building. So we thought it's very, very important. Even as a very small, we didn't make any money from it, and actually we lose money. So when you see this, the small building actually gave people a lot of nice life, and actually it actually affect people's life more than build a big shopping mall, or like a nice high-rise building, or residential ones. So this is something totally changed the way of the people think about the marriage registration thing, because it used to be they come to the government office. They have a large counter. There's people are sitting there, and you just ask a couple of questions, and they give you a certificate. That's it, and then people don't dress up to go. And now it's becoming a serious thing. So this is something we called how we can shape the culture, and we don't have a lot of a culture. Then we start to shaping it. So, and also it's a renovation is the major thing we actually do in Shenzhen. This is the one of the example of a large area of industrial, in a light industrial area, lots of the industrial kind of a factory warehouse. They changed it into commercial. So this one, we work on this, changed it into a boutique hotel. And this is something we tried to tell people, and actually how the value of the old building, don't simply just turn it down and build something new. It's also very, very nice to do, and we can make it extremely nice. And it's also become it's small, but it's very noticeable. It's kind of become some landmark, and people start notice this. And also, you see, it's a competition. We work with OMA. Actually, we won this competition. It's called a city landmark of Shenzhen, in the center of Shenzhen. It's just one showing. And we continue to do lots of building complex. And for example, this one is the very thin layer of buildings in front of the old village house, old villages. And also, we recently completed a office complex for the state-run business headquarters of the China South Nuclear Power Company. Yeah, we have a very big nuclear power station nearby Shenzhen. And yeah, this is something. Yeah, I took this picture several weeks ago, so it's looking. Yeah, we started to make the building different looking, and also some of the this building complex we always try to work on this very difficult, very sophisticated this context area, such as here. So we have a high-rise buildings are surrounded, and one of the busiest commercial district in Shenzhen, and we try to make this building it's a more sandwiched functioned building. It's a commercial on the lower level. We have a parking structure in the middle and a hotel on the top of it, and then we try to make the bridge to all the adjacent buildings to make this area has a better circulation. So this is some of the approaches, and when we do some projects, we are not just build something, we try to give the city some extra value to try to solve some kind of some major problems and they have. And this is under construction, almost finished. Yeah. Yeah, this is what it looked like. But sorry, the lower part is not able to see it. Yeah, it's quite a spectacular view, nice view. And also, we have this newly finished art gallery, and actually it's a print house. And they put their print factory, office, and art center together. So this has been very challenging and in a very complicated circulation area, so along the highway access. And so this is quite a nice building. So once we do a single building, we also try to make this nice in a different way. And this is also newly finished university library. And those are the most part of the build projects we have in Shenzhen, and we have some more. That's all I want to show right now. And to the year of 2000, the last year, the official figure of the Shenzhen population actually already passed 14 million. So this is I think it's hard to imagine how many people living there and what kind of a problem we are facing. Generally speaking, when you see the spectacular view like this, the city always try to promote itself to say, okay, Shenzhen is a very nice city and young and energetic, and also, and underneath it, something you don't see. There are lots of old things remain. Like, for example, very, very special phenomenon called the urban village. So they are scattered in Shenzhen area. So this is I took this part of the old Luohu, that old city center. You see the lighted part, it's the village. The village was actually the farmers, when they become, they are not a citizen until recently. And the city acquired their land to build. So they gave them small piece of land for them to build their own house and some other small field to grow their own crops. So this is very, very limited area. And then the farmers start to build their own house. Once the city grows, it's actually grow, and it's kind of surrounded. They become it's all isolated spots. And when all migrant workers, all the people coming, that they try to find a place to stay, to live. So those urban villages suddenly become quite a cheap area. So the farmer found this opportunity. So they start to rent it to think, and they demolish their two-level houses. They start build seven-level houses, and it become very, very congested area. And when you see and from the other side, Shenzhen has a very fast development. And for example, this one shows the Shenzhen, the new CBD is a development. The lower part you won't be able to see much. It was year 2000. It's actually vast empty. It's just empty. When the one was coming, and we start talk to the city officials, they said, "Oh, what's going to happen? We planned the CBD. No one want to come." So they ask people, art developers, to take a piece of land to build the high-rise buildings. At that time, it's very difficult. Then suddenly, to the year of 2005, everybody realized that the land prices are very, very valuable. So everybody rushing in to try to get a piece of land. So then you see start to the year, 5 years later, then the CBD can start to grow. And then the 10 years until now, and you see that it's all built. And you see the right hand is one of the tallest building in China or in Asia or somewhere else. 628, probably. That's the height. It's already top down now, so top up now right now. So you see that the area is becoming more and more densified, and the planning used to be try to keep these areas more like called FAR, floor ratio. It's floor area ratio. It's called FAR. It's a 2.5. But 5 years later, they still keep that one, and suddenly, to right now, they are starting make this FAR as a 4.0 and up to 7. So you see the change and the requirement of the land, and the Shenzhen does change and it become very livable and it has very, very Shenzhen style. You see the urban village. You see these the small vendors. The very active economy, very individualized this kind of economy, and also you see there's some very bizarre type of the thing, like for example, you see almost 1,000 people eating in a big banquet hall at the same time. It's so crowded, and there's some and later they have a new IT, and even the new makers they come to Shenzhen, start to make Shenzhen one of the most advanced city in China. So for this kind of situation, without being an architect, doing the things we have done, I just showed like that, it's quite not enough. We have lots of problems, lots of things happening, and without thinking, and we just keep building things, and we kept make mistakes and repeat mistakes over again. And what are we going to deal with it? And this is something we actually start to think, and we are just pure architectural firm, so we start to do something research. So gradually we borrow this idea called research lead design. That means we try to make a research first to do the urban study, to do the social to deal with the social issues, or to deal with the urban issues, and we think about the architecture and put them together. What's going to happen, and aim to Shenzhen. For example, urban village. We just talk about. It's one of the major research topic we are we kept since the year of 2003. So this is the project where we kept going and we did lots of research in the urban village area. So I don't want to talk too much. But this is some project in the year 2005. We did the urban village research our own. We select 4 different types to try to make give some idea or how we can solve the problem, not just wipe out and build a new neighborhood. We saw a lot of very nice things happening, and it's a very, say, a self-growing city of urban fabric, and the life there is very rich, and lots of things we liked. So we made this research, try to convince the city and convince the people, say, okay, urban village has this own value, and if you wipe it out and demolish it, and you chase those low income people, migrant workers outside to the suburb, they will create a huge amount of problem. For example, the commute and how they commute to the city. They have to use a very large kind of amount of public transportation. Then city have to build a lot of highways, subways, and a bus system. So this is only one problem. It will raise the cost of city and raise the cost of the citizens too. So this is the study. When we kept study, and years later, when you see the lower part, it's a one part. The area we actually researched is already demolished. So this is something we actually try to prove that this is actually has some way we can make some difference. For example, we can reorganize this a group of the urban village buildings, then take some out and improve the ventilation, the sunlight, and put those area on the top of the buildings and make another layer of this linkage. We call it rooftop urbanism, and in those are become the second the exit kind of a refugee level. So yeah, this is something we actually gave the people. We made a presentation, we published a book, and we gave it to the city officials, and we gave it to the media, and try to make this to work. Actually, and there are lots of people actually has the similar awareness of this to keep this urban village alive. At least we can keep maybe 1/3 or 1/4 of the urban villages. So this is something we actually draw. We try to make this work, and but the reality is the area we try to preserve is being demolished, and there are 2 major shopping malls, over 500,000 square meters building. That's under construction. It's already almost finished, and you see the yellow part is the building is under construction. It was on the side of the village, urban village. The urban village is only like this small layer of height. It's only 7 story. Now it's top to 40 stories now. So, but these are the pictures I always gave the people to argue, say, okay, they used to be so rich, so lively neighborhood, the area. When it got demolished, now where the people will go and how they can live. And this is the picture show the price of the housing and the rental price and also the house price, sales price. And the Shenzhen area, you see the you were not able to see, right? Okay, okay. So, David is asking, probably you're not able to see it or the slides, so maybe you can move. No?
This is a very interesting presentation, and we think that it would be idea that Xiaodu can present it as it is. So we are suggesting that the presentation will be moved to Sunday at 10 a.m. before the branch, so we can see it as it is because it's a very interesting presentation.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you.
Very
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
This server, but
okay. Well, I can stop right here. And the later part, I still have like 20 or 30 slides showing what we're doing right now. It's mainly the urban research. Some try to solve some new problem. Also this urban village problem. So the research we have done is greatly affect our practice, and we actually has two parallel lines, and one is doing the just a regular architectural job, and we are running our business. We are architects. We all like to build nice building, and another part we try to do the research, trying to find out, identify the urban problem, especially in a city like Shenzhen. It's a totally new, totally different situation. Simply say, I have an opinion that all the ideas, architectural ideas, urban master plans, or city planning, those the kind of ideas are we learn from the West. It's not quite work and in that area. So this is something we start to think it's not 100%. It's been in reality, but we are going that way. We try to make ourselves get some new idea, new thinking. So about the city, about what we should do. So this is basically what I'm going to show. And the next is a small part of it.
yeah, on Sunday we can repeat the whole presentation because for sure we need to understand this evolution that Shenzhen has gone through from a village until the point of urban regeneration where Urbanus projects make totally sense. So on Sunday we will continue seeing, if you can, the whole presentation again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to maybe ask some question? Maybe
Sorry for that.
it's okay.
Oh, the idea would be that you could repeat the presentation because only to see the...
Sorry about that. We tried everything, but we couldn't stop the sun from shining.
I even see you hang around there. in the
I was
window.
trying. but we couldn't stop the sun from shining.
It was pity.